How are we doing today, folks? My name is Raven, and welcome back to our insert title of Untitled Rant Show here. My name is Raven or Evan, and this week, it's a light topic. It's not much. I couldn't really think of anything because nothing has really been pissing me off lately other than Hood, and we already discussed that. So, although I could talk about specifically Robin, but I'm not gonna do that here, or right now at least. But I was playing Smite the other day, and it reminded me of how much I couldn't really get into it because the way that leveling works in that game is so silly, and just how you rotate around the map is silly. I can't get behind it. I'll get into it later, but that's what it is. All right. I'm sorry, I even forgot to introduce you guys. We got Jelly and Mangoose. All right, Mangoose.
Hi.
What do you got?
I'm
Mangoose?
here. What?
No, this is my show now. It's just me.
I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit. I'm not going to talk about games as much as
Yay.
content creation.
Oh, shit.
God. We talked a little bit last week about how games, people expect something different out of a game. They get pissed off when it's not that. Sometimes people come to your channel, they expect something different, and you're not that, and then they get pissed off. Sometimes they look at it and they just go somewhere else, and that's fine. Sometimes they leave some kind of stupid ass comment. So that's what I'm talking about this time. Also, I'm a little drunk tonight, so have fun with that.
Nice.
Sweet.
Cleaning his room, he says.
You need the duck call from Mangoose, Mr.
Duck Dynasty over there.
I'm Jelly Knees. Hello. This week I've kind of got a two-part topic, but it kind of talks about the same thing. Farming is not optional in MOBAs. And also, it does not need to be made easier.
But you could just farm champs.
I mean, okay, but that's a form of farming. You're doing some farming.
Okay, you just mean farming in general.
Sure. We'll get into it, I'm sure. All you, Evan. All you.
With the hoe. Okay. Yeah. So Smite. Once Paragon died, I tried Smite. I couldn't get into it. I immediately just disliked it. Because I think it was just because we didn't have a Z-axis, so even though you could look up and down, you were still restricted to that horizontal plane. But I got into it for a few months, actually. I even played a little bit of rank. I think I got to gold. But what I don't like about the game is that I tried in solo lane. I started there. And if you're going against your lane opponent, it's basically whoever dies first, they lose the lane completely. Because once you die, you lose out on a ton of XP and a lot of gold. And all of a sudden, you come back to lane, and now you're already 2 levels behind, and it's really hard to come back. And I don't know if that's just because I've never really been that good at that position, but it seemed like that a lot. Even in jungle, if you're not rotating properly in jungle, you're 3 levels behind everyone else, and then you feel completely useless in team fights. And then when you're in the ADC lane with the support, after you get your ult, the support just kind of runs away and starts helping everyone else. So then it feels like they get behind, because I had to play support a few games, and I didn't like that either. I was just running around the whole map, and now I'm sitting here levels behind everyone else, and yeah, I could throw a hidden ability every now and then, but I low health pool and not enough items. This is very strange. That was tough though, especially for the solo lane. As soon as I lose the first fight, I'd be like, well, sick, dude. I guess I'm just sit under tower the rest of the lane. I don't know. It's a light topic. Like I said, it's a little light rant. Have you guys played Smite?
I totally get you, because I tried the same thing. I tried to transition from Paragon to Smite, and I tried to think of it, this is not Paragon. This is a different game. And Smite is very much a different game from Paragon. It's a different game from League of Legends. It's its own thing. And it's good for what it is. Smite is good for certain people. Not for me. I didn't care for it as much. I identified that it was very different from Paragon, but I also identified that I didn't like the way Smite played. And there was a lot of factors and reasons that went into that. But yeah, it's not just I can't look up. It's like you said, you can look up, but there's no fucking reason to, because you can't shoot up. But
yeah. I mean, even team fights are chaotic. I don't know what's going on. This abilities. It's
the
a
whole
little clunky.
Structure is very different.
Or that's what it was too. Is all the abilities and even the auto attacks, they don't feel meaty. You don't feel like you get a nice receptiveness from it. So when I'm hitting abilities left and right, like Bellica just came up, like a Bellica stun to bomb and ult, like that you feel like you're actually doing something. And this, like if I do the same thing, it's just kind of like, okay, and let's continue on. Nothing really happened. Even though this guy lost a lot of health.
Like you press the button, it doesn't actually feel like you cast this massive ability.
I don't feel like I'm playing the character.
Your game is entirely centered around these myths, the myths and folklore of cultures and things like that. Things that are larger than life already. Why aren't your abilities feeling that same way?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's a weird disconnect. That's the thing that's always been for me for Smite, is it doesn't feel as intuitive as other MOBAs, in that it goes off the beaten path so much that it's like Mango said, it's its own thing. It's in its own bubble of the MOBA genre. But it doesn't feel as good to play either. So it's just this weird place.
Big difference I can identify when you guys are talking about the visceral feel of the abilities. Richter has his Riplash in Paragon. Sylvanus has pretty much the same thing where he lashes out with a root and grabs people in Smite. When you get grabbed by Sylvanus, you're like, you just kind of get
I got
moved.
moved.
Whatever. When you got grabbed by fucking Richter, it was an event. Like your camera shook. All of a sudden, you were just fucking gone and disoriented, and it was a thing. Like it was scary. It was scary to get hooked by Richter as well. It should be. With Sylvanus, it's like, I do like, that's by far my favorite hero in the Smite.
Speaking of Richter Riplash there, Ares with his ultimate is he chains everyone, and then after like 3 seconds pulls them in. And I think Daji kind of does the same thing too. But again, it's like the chain hits you, nothing happens. There's just like a chain attached to you now. And then when you get pulled, it's just like, I moved from here to there, and now I'm next to him.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as exciting, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's the only thing I can explain of why I don't like Smite too.
Yeah. Now
it's just doesn't feel good.
Don't get me wrong. They suckered me in, and I bought a lot of skins. Or should I say gems for the skins to get a chance? Because they all work off like loot boxes, sort of, where like you're gonna get a skin, but it might not be the one you want. Or you could just straight up purchase one. Yeah, they do a really good job with skins. I'll say that.
I bought the God pack.
I did too. Yeah, it was $10 at the time when I bought it. Now I have every god and every one that goes gonna come out until eternity.
I made the joke at the time that everybody's Paragon refund went straight to high res for a God pack.
I don't think I ever got my Paragon refund. Wait a second.
Stop.
I didn't ask
get
for
the
it
email?
I got the email.
Oh.
I spent $90 on a founder's pack after I got in for free, but I felt that I got $90 worth of entertainment out of Paragon, and it jump started my YouTube channel, and I owe a lot to Epic, and I didn't want the refund. I felt they earned that money and let them have it.
You heard it here. If you want Mangoose's YouTube channel, $90. That's what it's worth.
Yeah.
And only $90 across everyone who's subscribed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Mangoose. Let's hear about content creation, buddy.
Oh yeah, speaking of YouTube content creation, I don't really get this as much as I used to, but goddamn, when I first started content creation for Paragon, my content, it was very different from what everybody else was doing. Like everybody else was doing like guides and gameplay, guides and gameplay, guides and gameplay, guides and gameplay. So when you looked at a Paragon YouTuber, that's what you were expecting to see. So when you came to the market, imagine there's a market of Paragon YouTubers. Everybody's selling apples, guides and gameplay. You know, this guy might be selling Fuji apples, this guy might be selling Granny Smith apples, but they're all fucking apples. Then here comes old Mangoose pulling his cart of oranges. That's right, we're comparing apples to oranges. I love this. I love this. Here comes old Mangoose with his oranges. Some people will come up, they'll pick up an orange, they're like, holy fuck, I've never had an orange before. This is awesome. I love it. Then some people will be like, this orange, I don't really care for it as much. I want to stick to the apples. I'm cool with that. Fine. Go buy your apples. That's the reason there's plenty of content creators. If you don't like oranges, stick with your apples. I don't care. That's fine. What gets me is the people that stick around and are like, yo, this fucking apple tastes like shit.
Where am I getting some apples, you know?
It's like, motherfucker, that's not an apple. It's an orange. Like people that don't understand, that don't even try to understand that I'm doing something very different from what most people are doing, and they don't like that it's different. And then they comment that it's different. You don't have to leave that. Like, okay, so I kind of understand now
Great
why people
analogy.
would unsubscribe, because people got very used to a more serious side of me, the sort of informative stuff that I was doing. And then all of a sudden, here I am talking about tongue punching Decker's fart box, and then people unsubscribe. That's fine. I totally understand that. As long as they don't fucking like go ahead and unsubscribe. You know, if that's not what you're in for, then don't stick around, because that shit's going to happen. I say some very inappropriate shit, and it's going to happen a lot. And I'm fine with that if you don't like that. I don't want everybody to like me. I want the people that do enjoy my content to really enjoy that content. And I want that community of people that have a similar mind frame. But if you don't like it, shut the fuck up, move on, and find somebody that you do like. There's tens of fault YouTubers out there. But
Tens.
choose from one of those. If you don't like my content, that's fine. And you don't have to fucking tell me about it. Just shut the fuck up and move on.
Bro, it's like everyone buying Hood and then complaining about it and then being like, I want a refund. I got my refund. I don't like this game. It's not what I thought it was. Wah.
It's kind of an extension of what we talked about last week of like, play the game that you have, right? Stop trying to compare it to other things.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the creator that you're watching. Stop trying to make that creator into a different creator. Absolutely.
I mean,
And if you don't like him, if you don't like that creator or him or her, then just watch somebody else.
Mhm.
It's as simple as that. All like Jelly, you and I've discussed this quite a few times. All ships rise on a high tide.
Mhm.
If a
Absolutely.
game succeeds, then all the creators can rise up and find their own audience. I don't want all the audience. I'm not out to find all the audience. There's other YouTubers that are. God bless them. Go for it. But I don't believe in God. But anyway,
well, okay.
And the unsubscribe
It keeps going.
again.
Yes, exactly. But fucking yeah, go fiddle around with them. I'm my own thing. I have my own community. Fucking, if you like it, stick around. If not, move on. But you don't have to fucking tell me. I love constructive criticism. If you have like, okay, you should be this different or this different. I like your content, but I don't like this about it. Awesome. That's how I've grown. I've grown so much. I've grown much more from negative comments than I have from positive comments. However, if your comment is, this isn't a real review, this sucks. Yeah, it's a fucking thing that I do. It's called the Honest Hero Overviews. It's a tongue-in-cheek look at the heroes. It's not a real review. Like,
You're telling
look,
me that those reviews are not the most serious thing on the internet?
Belka, look, Belka can't interrupt Muriel in her ult. No, she fucking can't. That's the
I
joke.
love that.
That's the goddamn joke.
No, I mean, your analogy is like, it's so spot on. I mean, you look at a game like Fault or any other game like that, and everyone does these guides or builds. And to be fair, I might try to do that at some point. Maybe when like Predecessor comes out. But when I was playing Paragon, my kind of content was like cinematic montages. So I wanted to be creative about it. And I don't think they ever really caught on. I really tried to, and I kept making one every time a new hero came out. But I just really loved making it. And it did have a lot of people that did enjoy it. Nowadays, I don't think many people like montages, but that's still something I like to put a lot of work into, because I enjoy
if you enjoy it, if you keep putting your heart into it and keep putting it out there, you're going to find an audience.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
It may be slow, but it'll grow.
I mean, like I told you, I mean, I'm already at 85 subscribers on a brand new account, YouTube account I just made in January. Like, that's incredible to me. And I thank everyone that's watching right now. But I love you guys. But yeah, like,
subscribe just in case we want to make that to 100.
Yeah, no, like I really, that's kind of why I also, okay, now we're going off to like a side topic, but I'll just mention really quick. That's kind of why I stepped away from Twitch, because it's like, it's too much. Like, let me just do what I enjoy, which originally was making videos, and then I'll add the streams to that, on the weekends. So, yeah.
That
I will.
Go ahead, Jelly. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've been talking way too
Yeah,
much.
he's like, oh, fuck this dude.
You're good.
Okay, I will say this right off the top. Twitch is like a whole different culture. Like Jelly Knees, like your channel is like a safe haven, and there's a lot of havens out there that I enjoy spending time in those havens. But most of the Twitch culture, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking hate it. It's all a bunch of arrogant assholes, fucking stoking their own egos by putting their teammates and never improving their own gameplay. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Fuck
get
Twitch.
away from it, so. Too weird.
And then there's the Twitch ads, which are even worse.
God.
But that's a whole separate rant.
I actually got
kind
a
of played
5-second ad the other day. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. 5-second
That's
ad,
a
not
miracle.
30.
to kind of play devil's advocate against your point there, Mangoose. There's something that I have started calling hate watching content creators, right? And I will watch content creators. I won't comment because again, it's the kind of like if you don't have anything nice to say, why say anything at all, right? But I will hate watch other content creators just so I can be like, I will either never do that with my content or I can do that better. Let me prove it, right? And so I think that that exists in a healthy medium, but that's more competition than it is anything else. That's not
Yeah.
expecting you to be different or wanting you to be
Right.
different necessarily. That's just not my style.
Yeah, that's fine. I totally get that. That's 100% okay. And like that, any kind of competition is only good for the people
Mhm.
watching the content. Because if you're trying to do better than this guy and he's trying to do better than you, then both your content is going to get better.
100%.
I just chose a different route that nobody else is really in competition with me, so I never get better.
Damn.
That's it. Mangoose is saying he needs competition. You have to step up, go
Yeah,
out there, make your own honest hero reviews.
Somebody go do some dumb shit.
I'll get back on
Do
it.
it.
Dude, I did that with Rainbow Six Siege actually. I called it Ops 101. I did like little minute to 2 minute to 3 minute like blurbs on like the character and like a short condensed version, not like a thorough in-depth guide. I thought it was funny. I a little catchy and stuff, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it. Do it up.
There's always room in every single medium. There's always room for someone to do something better. Whether it's a new creator, a small creator, anything in between. There's always room that somebody's going to do something
I was
better.
gonna say this, but you probably had this idea, right? We could probably do that with the hood guys, the hood outlaws. Honest hood review of Outlaw of Took
Oh,
or
God.
Robin.
Sorry about
I could
that.
destroy Robin, dude. Like,
Do it up, man. Do it up.
there we go.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah,
Any
but-
other thoughts on that, Mangoose?
Nah.
He seems okay with that.
All right. So, farming is not optional in MOBAs. In the majority of MOBAs. I guess I should, there's because someone's going to find that fringe MOBA that you don't get any gold or XP from farming. And they're going to be like, well, actually, no, we're not. We're talking about the core MOBAs that everybody knows. If you walk down the street and said, have you heard of League of Legends? Have you heard of Smite? Most people are going to be like, yeah, I have. Okay. It's not optional. This is something that you need to do. And if somebody does it better than you, that means you need to improve, not it needs to be made easier for you to be at the same level as that person. I got into a conversation with our favorite ward denier, Astro,
Hmm.
and he basically was
War
telling me
denier.
that farming is too restrictive, that it should be easier. That way it opens up more opportunities for the whole of the game.
I'm sorry. Did he play Paragon?
He did, but he doesn't remember it enough.
He
Well
doesn't
enough.
remember the execute mechanic, and then the card that made it even easier to execute minions.
Uh-huh.
Where farming was literally irrelevant.
Which there's
There
an
was no
extent
skill.
where I understand the execute card being in there. But it needed to be significantly less so than like half health of a minion most of the game. But I kind of went down that path with him and this was like a multi-hour rant of me just like keyboard monstering over Astro's comment here. But basically, his thing was that you should set a timer, basically, that if you hit a minion and within 5 seconds that minion dies, you should get the reward for whatever that
Yeah, wait,
minion-
what? That's like Smite,
And
dude.
the timer can be balanced out, right? That was just kind of the example we were running with. But his reasoning is that if you go up to a wave, put out an AoE or a dot or something, you mark all the minions for death, they die within 5 seconds. That means you can go help your jungler go rotate to another lane, or you can go God knows what else. Yeah.
Does he play
that was a
mages?
thing.
Has he ever played a mage late game?
Well, and that's his argument was that in the late game, farming isn't important anymore.
Correct for the most part, but wave clearing is important at that point,
Which
which
was
is
my
what? Okay.
True, with all due respect.
Oh,
and
going down, bro.
I do mean, with all due
Oh.
respect, that idea ain't worth a velvet painting of a whale and a dolphin getting it on.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
That's insanity.
And I tried to explain that
Oh my God.
farming is actually probably one of the most core mechanics to a MOBA, for one thing, and one of the most important in its current form in the majority of MOBAs, that you have to last hit to get the minion gold, and you get XP in an area. Because it shows a skill disparity, right? If you put a diamond player up against a bronze player, they are not going to farm the same. And it's going to be very clear that the diamond player gets the advantage just in gold over the bronze player because of being able to last hit.
Right.
Whereas if you make that easier, that skill disparity squishes down.
Yep.
Which is detrimental to games. Games that have, there's a reason most MOBAs have 8 or 9 sets of ranks to separate those players across so many ranks to make sure that they're playing at their own skill level. If you condense that down, you're going to get some people that are mechanically gifted and some people that aren't playing against each other because they can farm the same and their gold is evened out in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, like when you were playing Paragon, I mean, it or that later end of its life, it was farming was whatever in the middle of or beginning to middle of the game, but then yeah, it was irrelevant later on because you could just one shot the minions anyway. But the whole beginning and middle, it was just a free for all still, as if like farming didn't really matter because I could just that I could still poke, let the minions do their thing, and then just execute the minion.
Or if you wave manage, you can go rotate, come back, and still have the majority or all of the enemy wave to claim. Right? There's still plenty of options given the current last hit state of minion farming. And yeah, it got me. I don't know why it tilted me so bad to hear that he wanted to change last hitting, but it like full on like blood curdling I was on there ready to fight it out to the death.
Kind of an absurd comment.
Let me take you guys on a little trip. Little trip to the past. A little mechanic that a lot of people don't quite remember from Paragon.
Uh-oh.
You remember when you had to collect the bounty from the minions?
Yes!
How fucking amazing that was.
Wait, minion bounty?
Yes.
When you killed a minion, they dropped
the
CP on the ground.
The fucking orange orbs, yeah.
So if somebody cleared a fucking wave,
oh god, I remember that.
Beat the shit out of them and knock them back. They didn't get that wave. They didn't get that. You didn't get the wave either, but they didn't get that wave.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was a huge mechanic in Paragon early, like bullying somebody away from their own XP and CP. It was just CP, I believe.
I actually brought that up to Astro in this argument of that Paragon used to have that exact mechanic, and that it was really, really good and fun for the game because it provided kind of the best of both worlds in that reality of not only do you have to be able to farm well, you then also have to be in a position that you can go collect that farm afterwards. Yeah, incredible mechanic.
Yeah, look at how like good the game was and then how dumbed down it became. I mean, I obviously knew that, but I'm just like now kind of like really understanding and realizing that what a difference it's been.
The majority of my hours into Paragon were in the first 6 months of its life, and then significantly less so than thereafter, as a lot of those things, or first 6 months to a year of its life, and then significantly less so after that, because of those changes of removing a lot of those things that made it feel unique and good and fun. But the nice thing about that mechanic as well was if the minion just died to another minion, it would still drop CP, but just less.
Right.
So there was still something that you still had the potential to earn something, but significantly less so than if you last hit. It incentivizes last hitting, incentivizes positioning, and just sets up a good lane experience overall. I really hope we get to see that in more MOBAs coming soon. Because I missed that mechanic dearly.
I totally forgot about that, Mangoose. Thank you for refreshing my brain. That should be included in new MOBAs.
Even in Heroes of the Storm, where you don't have gold, there's still experience. The minions drop a small little orb on the ground that you have to be close enough to collect, so you can bully people away in Heroes of the Storm. So in that way, Heroes of the Storm is more complex than Paragon, which is sad to say.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I was talking to Astro actually a little bit about HOTS. And Grant, so Mangoose, you're the HOTS guy, right? Way more so than I am.
I am a hot guy.
He is the HOTS guy.
Yeah, I've got the HOTS for you. But the thing I kind of talked to Astro about was that in HOTS, because there isn't gold per minion, right? It kind of makes those laning phases significantly duller. In that because you're not moving forward to get minions, you're not forced to step out of position to do things for minions as often because there's not as big as an incentive for you. Would you disagree with that entirely?
100% disagree. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, HOTS, you're even more so forced to soak every lane and to time your rotation so that you're still soaking the XP from each lane because it impacts your entire team.
Well, I think soaking, yes. But I mean, in terms of you don't need to walk up to last hit, correct? It's more proximity based.
Yeah, it's proximity based. Yeah.
Okay. And I base this off of professional HOTS games that I've seen. Right? The professional HOTS games, the first 10 minutes is them kind of playing really safe. They're doing rotations. And when they get caught out in rotations, that's when things happen. But the lane itself is super dull in terms of action that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's a constant give and take with whoever you're laying against to try and force them away from their XP while gaining your XP, or positioning the wave in such a way that you're able to gain your XP without them harassing you. So there's a lot of strategy there that you may not see going on, but it's there.
Yeah.
Because that now it wasn't always like that in HOTS. They didn't always just drop the XP. It was just if you had to be close enough to a lane, you would get the XP, and that was boring. Yeah, that was boring as fuck.
And maybe that's more what I'm basing it off of. I'll say I have not watched HOTS recently by any stretch.
It's funny. I watched your HOTS video. Do you even know who Paragon is?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from StarCraft.
Oh, because the way you're describing her, you're like, yeah, she's got like this one ability that you could like summon this other thing, and it's almost like you just kind of like, yeah, she's cool.
I know who Paragon is.
Okay. Gamer Mangoose.
I doubt most people do know who she is.
Right.
She's the Queen of Blades.
She's that woman from The Office, right?
Yeah.
Dwight dresses up as
Dwight
her?
Schrute.
Yes. Wait, yeah. Forgot about that too.
I bet you there are a lot of people that if you said Kerrigan, that's what they would think of.
I know, right?
I'm Kerrigan. StarCraft? What do you mean?
All right. Farming's not optional. Changing it to a within 5 seconds is dumb. I love you, Astro, but that was dumb.
Yeah, we'll send that one straight to the graveyard. Bury it.
Indeed.
But, you know, everyone can have their own opinion. That's what's great about America.
Even if it sucks, Astro.
Or the world.
Oh my god.
You want to hit the comments?
Comments from last week.
Yeah.
Hood is cool. Agreed. Hard agreed.
Yes. We could talk about like Patrick here. He's saying that, you know, he's got no expectations for games anymore. That's fine. It's totally okay. I agree with that. But I don't suggest waiting for reviews, because you could, like we mentioned last time with IGN's video, they could just completely miss the whole point of the game, try to play it, and ignore everything and refuse to understand the game, and then tell you that the game's mediocre at best.
Yeah. I think if you're going to rely on
don't go to
reviews,
Reddit either.
Oh yeah, super don't go to Reddit.
Oh my god,
but
you should see this comment thread I'm in.
You have to find someone that has reviewed games that you really like or don't like, that kind of aligns with your interests the majority of the time, and then use their review as a gauge. Someone like IGN, where it's going to be a different reviewer every time, and they're just way off base half the time, I wouldn't trust as a good source. I would say a smaller content creator that has reviewed games that you enjoy in the past is probably a more trusted source than someone like IGN, for absolute certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Just find like a variety YouTuber that you trust, and then trust in their reviews, not what all these other dipshits are saying.
Yep, absolutely.
Shouts out to Ethereal though. Hashtag indie dev struggles. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think I'm allowed to comment on that today.
I'll comment.
Not,
I'll comment.
not today.
Interesting.
Not today.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. We'll go with that. I don't like Fault, but I can't stop playing it. There's no new other games. Play Hood.
That's true.
I'm enjoying the dog shit out of Fault.
I'll say it's
Mangus
better.
Even making me want to play Fault more.
Listen,
It's
it's
better.
definitely
It's
better
better.
than what it was the last time I played, which was what, last year. It's
The
still
last time you played it was with me when you keep picking
All right,
Grim.
well,
that's your problem, bro.
dude. I just want to play Grim, okay, and be good at him.
You keep picking the worst
I
ADC in
know.
the game.
There's no Revenant yet, bro. But no, I don't know. Like it's okay, but there's something weird about it right now, or if I'm just not used to like playing Paragon again. But man, as soon as I'm dead, I'm dead. Like there's no indication I'm about to die. Like in a lot of games, like
Well-
there's like the heartbeat or your something's glowing. Like this is just boom, I blow health and I'm dead. Or
If
there's
the
just like a busted.
predecessor
I don't know.
was a lot closer to Paragon than Fault is, so there's way more of a disconnect whenever you play Fault than whenever you play predecessor. So
Yeah.
I will say that.
Okay.
I do enjoy Fault. It's its own thing, kind of like Smite. Once predecessor comes out, though, probably gonna be playing predecessor
Yeah,
more.
you got that right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't know. Like yeah, I'll still play Fault a few times. Like if you guys still want to play, like I'll play it. I'll just try to keep my negative connotations to myself, I guess. This game sucks.
All right. Well, anything else that you guys want to talk about this week?
I guess I look forward to a honest Robin review from Hood.
I'm looking forward to it.
No,
What do you
yeah,
think, Chip?
now that you gave me that idea, I might do a little something like that. Outlaws 101. Make it
I just
really
feel like
funny.
the honest Marianne review is just going to be basically the honest Wraith review from Apex. It's just going to be the edgy Twitch.tv person who always plays Marianne. Who, yeah, absolutely.
Turbo, a 420 Turbo Marianne 69. That guy. No, I'm actually real quick. I got pissed off today because I was playing with Rashido just before this, and we were on Graveyard, and I was Robin. And I'll say that I really wish they implement perk changing in the game lobby before you go into the map, because no way I'm gonna go into Graveyard again as Robin. Because they had 3 Mariannes and a John. We had Robin, 2 Mariannes, and a Took. And holy shit, I couldn't do anything to them. Because they could just stand right next to me and go, boop, headshot, dead. Boop. It's so frustrating, dude.
Especially Graveyard. Graveyard is probably
Yeah.
Marianne's best map.
And like
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
there's
fighting over the
missions
chest
everywhere.
in the church. So like every time I run into a team fight, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to die then. I'll throw an arrow, but I'll probably die. God, it was so frustrating, dude. She's so busted.
Marianne mains, rise up.
I gotta figure it out. All right, well, thank you guys for hanging out with us again and listening. Don't forget to leave comments below. Any suggestions for a title name that we'll keep forgetting to look at or just choosing to ignore. And yeah, that's it. So have a great night, guys. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.